Everybody mute their phones, make sure your mics are on. All right, our June 13th regular town council meeting, I'd like to call it to order. If everyone would mute their phones, please. I need a motion to amend the agenda. We have two items on 7-4. It's a release request. These items are not in town limits, so we need to give these guys, I guess, a rebate.
Yeah, it's a tax release.
So
Motion
tax
to
release.
amend.
All right, very good.
Second.
So motion to amend, need a vote?
Second.
Very good. So we amended the agenda, so I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Very good. Invocation, Dewey? Yes, sir. Cyclone, called you Dewey last time. I need to mark that Dewey out.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Our scripture today is from the book of Psalms. I lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from which cometh my help. 80 years ago, let's see, that's a week ago today, 80 years ago was 6th of June, D-Day, when the American, British, and Canadian forces stormed ashore in France, and a little bit later, within about a year, they had defeated Nazi Germany. Karen and I used to take one riverboat trip per year, and usually in Germany or France. In 2007, on a trip on the Rhine River in Germany, we met a fellow passenger. It was a man from Massachusetts named John Brooks. John and his wife shared a table with us, and during the 10 or 12 days that we were there together, heard many stories John told. He went ashore D-Day. The first wave landed at 5:50 a.m. John was in the second wave at 6 o'clock. So by this time, you can imagine most of the guys in the first wave were already killed or wounded. But anyway, we spent about that whole week talking and enjoying. We became real fast friends as a result of that. And after the cruise was over, we stayed in contact, phone, email, such as that. And so at this time, I was speaking to the students at Newland Elementary about Memorial Day and what it was. So I called John and I asked him if he would write some things and send to me that I could tell the students that he encountered on this D-Day. So I got the following letter from him. It says, Cyclone, I arrived in England in April 1944, part of a force getting ready for the invasion of France to defeat the Nazis. My first night ashore, I was assigned charge of quarters. Non-military people, that's a guy that picked to stay awake all night to look for fire, trouble, or whatever. This was absolutely the loneliest night of my life. It was my birthday. And here I was, just arrived in England, so I didn't know anyone, and I'm thousands of miles from home. We trained getting ready for the invasion. No one knew when it was coming, but we knew that it was. Finally, on the 5th of June, we boarded ships, but the weather was so stormy, the invasion was postponed. The next day, 6th of June, we were ago. I was on a Higgins boat landing craft where we were to go over the front of it, and everyone was seasick. The first boat went ashore at 5:50. I was in the second wave 10 minutes later, 6 a.m. I was the radio man for our outfit. Radio weighed about 40 pounds, strapped on my back. There were about 25 of us in the boat. We were all supposed to go out the front door when we hit the shore. I could see from coming down on the bluff up above when the door dropped a German .50 caliber machine gun was killing our guys. So instead of going out the front, I climbed out the side. This saved my life. I was the only man on the boat of about 25 to live. The radio was so heavy I almost drowned, and I had to dump it to save my life. I ran as fast as I could to the bottom of the cliff. About a dozen soldiers were huddled there trying to get directly against the cliff for what little protection from the gunfire we could. One of the guys was an officer, and he told us we had to find some way to contact headquarters to see what we needed to do. He asked if anyone knew how to operate a radio. I told him I did, but I had to abandon mine. He looked towards the water and he said, there are dozens of them on the beach and also floating in the water. He asked if I would volunteer to go get one and bring it back. I volunteered and I raced as fast as I could, dodging abandoned equipment, dead soldiers, and bullets. I grabbed the first of many radios. I raced back to the group and looked down and I saw my name on it. Out of the many, I had picked up my own radio. Our little group joined up with a larger group, and we made it to the top of that terrible bluff. We took enough land to bring in reinforcements. The next day, the Germans mounted a counterattack. I was struck in the upper leg with my thigh with a phosphorus heat grenade. For some reason, it didn't explode, or I would have been killed. The grenade hit the artery, and I would have bled to death, except it generated enough heat to cauterize the wound shut. The corpsman pulled the grenade out, gave me a shot of morphine, taped it up. We were so short of men, I didn't even get to go to the hospital. The medic said, son, ain't nothing wrong with your shooting finger. Truly, God just wasn't ready for me. I fought the rest of the war all through France and Germany and received no more wounds. I was so fortunate we lost so many of my friends. Tell the students you speak to remember those guys. They were the true heroes. Your friend, John. I had always wanted to go to Normandy, and after meeting John, we planned a trip the following year. And I called him to tell him that we were going to go. And he said, well, be sure and tell me when you return. Tell me all about it. I did. He answered the phone. He had no idea who I was or any memory of having ever met me. A few weeks before, he awoke with no memory of anything in his life after high school. Evidently a form of post-stress syndrome that kicked in after those 60-something years. In lieu of regular prayer, I'd like to share part of an excerpt from a prayer that President Franklin Roosevelt gave while D-Day was going on. This will probably seem a little strange, a president on the radio saying a prayer. Now, that's kind of politically incorrect, I guess, but when you're Franklin Roosevelt and you've been elected 4 terms as president, you don't really care what anybody thinks. You can say what you want. So this is what he said. He said, my fellow Americans, last night when I spoke with you about the fall of Rome, I knew at that moment the troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the channel in another and greater operation. It has come to pass with success thus far. And so in this poignant hour, I ask you to join with me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity. Lead them straight and true. Give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, steadfastness in their faith. They will need thy blessings. Their road will be long and hard, for the enemy is strong. He may hurl back our forces. Success may not come with rushing speed, but we shall return again and again, and we know that by thy grace and by thy righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph. Thy will be done, Almighty God. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Cyclone.
Thank you.
Everyone stand for pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 5 is our fiscal year 2024-25 annual budget public hearing, second reading. I need a motion to open this up.
Motion.
Need a vote?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Any
This is
public comment?
public hearing.
Public comment on the budget? All right.
Okay. I need a motion to close the hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Need a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, item 515 is complete. Item 6 is public comment. Public comment, this is time for the public to address their elected officials on issues not on the agenda. The town council is interested in hearing your concerns. However, speakers should not expect council action or deliberation on items brought forth during the public comment period. So it looks like we have one lady that has signed up. Ms. Berry?
Yes, I'm Therese Barry, 100 Squirrel. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. I'm complaining about permanent residents being expected to pay to park in that lot over there. This is for example. I'm a trail guide, a town trail hike this morning that started right up there by the trail. Now, I started at the end and met them, but that's another story. So I asked the people who were guiding this hike, did you pay to park in the lot? And they said, well, no, someone said they weren't going to have to. But they were thinking they were going to have to. It is absolutely ridiculous that anybody who is volunteering for the town should be paying to park in that lot. Why can't our garbage dump little placards be free parking? I mean, it's ridiculous. People working at the museum, if there's nowhere to park, they're expected to pay to park. It's stupid. I mean, and last time I brought this up, somebody said, well, this could be abused. How? We're gonna counterfeit parking passes for the dump? I mean, it's just stupid. Anyway, I would like to suggest that it be your pass for the convenience center that I know I always call the dump. The convenience center pass would let people get free parking at that lot. And as an aside, I want to say again that I don't want to buy a bear-resistant trash bin. I want to continue to use the dump. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 7, our consent agenda. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion.
Any, need a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Pretty simple.
And a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, new business. 2020, item 8.1, 2025 annual budget ordinance. I need a motion to accept this.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So the budget ordinance has been approved. Item 8.2.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
This is a time the public is not supposed to speak.
I'm not the public, but I'm telling you, thank you. We're getting close to the end of the month, and I needed the budget.
So our town manager has been sweating this one. They put together a nice budget, and I'm gonna go ahead and spill the beans a little earlier with our getting sidetracked, but you know, within budget, we have like 83% that's budgeted, and as of the end of this month, or last month, we came in at 73%. And hats off to Chief Budney and his staff for, 10% savings, and I looked at that in my business, 10% savings off, you know, our monthly expenditures. That's pretty strong. So congratulations to our town manager and staff Good job, Chief.
Thank you. I'll pass that along to the people who really do the work.
Okay.
Like you don't.
Item 8.2, 2025 fee schedule. I need a motion to accept this.
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you mind just explaining one more time the fee schedule on it, please?
Yes, so there's, the changes are in red. More importantly, the big change here, there's two items. Let's do the utility first. With your direction, we're changing July 1st the way we bill for water. We're doing the $45 per month base fee, and then we're doing a commodity charge that escalates the more water you use, the more each gallon costs you, and that's reflected in the red in the fee schedule. The sewer portion is identical, just as it has been in the past, so it would be metered through the water and then charged through the sewer. That's a substantial change from what the town has done in the past, and we've discussed it, but that reflects in the fee schedule.
So that's a more fair and balanced approach to those who consume it?
Yes, well,
Versus-
we talked about our residents who aren't here year-round. They were paying for water that they weren't using. This came to light when Councilman Villanova and I discussed the conservation rate that we had struggled with back in December and January, where we were in a little drought. And we had really no way to encourage conservation. So this new method of billing per gallon will encourage conservation. And if you recall, I asked for about 90 days to review this so we can see how it's reacted to on conservation ways. There was a question Councilman Stanford asked about single meter residential properties and as well as commercial. So at this particular time, if you notice, we're not changing commercial at all, and we're moving single meter residential to commercial rate. We'll bring to you a fee schedule probably before January that will reflect a similar fee schedule for commercial and something that works for single meter residential. We want to be able to encourage the Pinnacle Inn, for instance, to conserve, but currently, as it sits now, they're on a single meter, 250,000 gallons a month, and if you were to apply our new rate schedule, they couldn't afford it. So, and this isn't to be a big, benefit to the revenue side of the utility. This is to more fairly bill the people, the residents who use the water. So we're working on that now, and I wanted to answer that question for you.
Chief, are most multifamily structures under a single meter or?
No, most are individually metered, but we do have a number of condominium units that are single meter or have multiple meters, but multiple, if you take Holiday Beach Villas, for instance. They don't have a single meter, they have multiple meters, but not every unit is metered, it's metered by the building.
Okay.
So, and then we have smaller complexes like Wildwind that has single meter with smaller units. So what we're trying to do is apply a schedule that reflects that, encourages conservation, and makes it a fair billing for those properties.
So those units then are going to be under the commercial side of things, not the.
As of July 1st, they will remain exactly the way they are now
Today.
until we bring you a new fee schedule where we're able to manage that. And we've reached out to our consultant engineer as well as other utilities where for instance, on a single meter residential, they bill their base rate, which is 45 for a house, based on the size of the meter that feeds that complex. Most are 2-inch, but for instance, the Pinnacle is, I believe, a 6-inch, Daniel told me. So we're not there yet. And two things I want to be careful of is not to run short on the revenue side for the utility. Absolutely can't do that. And we want to be able to fairly bill those multifamily single meter complexes.
Can you put a single meter, you mentioned Holiday Beach Villas. Hypothetically, if someone rents their condominium out, year round, And then you got individuals, kind of like with the reason we're changing the water rates, that are only up here 2 or 3 months out of the year. Is there any way they can put residential meter on there?
Well, I don't want to say there's not a way. There's not a way the town is going to do it.
Yeah,
We,
if the individual wanted to do it.
well, what happens, let's take the Pinnacle. We build the Pinnacle Homeowners Association for the water that's consumed in that meter. They decide how they bill their residents or their unit owners. And you heard last month from the audience that they bill based on the number of bedrooms. So if you have a 1-bedroom unit, you have a one rate, and the homeowner association builds the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom additionally. We're not gonna get into that discussion nor that business. We're selling water through that 1 meter to 1 account. And how that is recouped by the owner of that account, the town doesn't want to get involved in that.
Sure. So, okay.
I've got one more explanation, if you don't mind. The convenience center permit yearly, just explain for those that decide the 585 fee change,
Yes. So,
how that's
well,
gonna work.
let's move, if we're done with water, we'll move to
Okay,
sanitation.
sorry.
Any other questions on water? It's a big change for the town on water. It's gonna take us a little bit of time to get the system programmed. That's why I need this soon, so that we can get to work on that. The other change was in sanitation. You approved a 40-hour sanitation schedule for the convenience center. And we increased the rates by $2.90 to $37.90 per month. And that is standard 2-can. And we had a discussion by council on what do you do for short-term rentals or single-family homes that produce more garbage than a single. And we have in the yellow, you'll see an additional $37.90 for an additional bin. So for every bin with 2 containers in it, it's $37.90. That's 2 times a week pickup. In closing the convenience center, we're going to close it Sundays and Wednesdays. We did a traffic count, and we've tracked the business going through the gate at the convenience center, as well as looked up at our routes. So we pick up Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on the routes. And we have the convenience center open those days, as well as Saturday. Saturday was the high peak day of the week of about 190 cars during a Saturday. The reason Sunday was picked, it's our least populated day. It also butts up against the most number of days we're picking up in the street at the curb. We're picking up Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. And lastly, I received oh, you can't do that because our renters need to drop off their garbage on the way off the mountain. And that's a bad concept, because if you recall the previous council, we don't allow short-term rentals to use the convenience center. They're to use the bare bins. So it didn't ring true. So we're gonna try it. We'll see how that works, but we're going to 40-hour week to save about $50,000, and that's reflected in this rate. You should note, Steve Smith brought it to my attention, that we're going to close the year out as a deficit in the sanitation. We should expect the LGC to take note of that when we do our audit and send it to the LGC, and we'll probably get a letter from the LGC saying you can't run your enterprise fund as a deficit, you've got to raise rates. If you approve this rate schedule, we've done that. So I do want to just let you know of all the issues that may come forward. To your, I'm sorry. The Local Government Commission, they regulate local government and their finances.
Compute.
To get to your question, Councilwoman, I know it's a long way to get there. The $585, that's for a non-utility customer who lives outside the town who doesn't pay taxes. And by policy, that's 125% of the yearly fee. So if you take the $37.90 times 12 times 125%, if my staff is correct, is $585. That's the fee that people on Sunset Strip, Woodland Meadows pay to use the convenience center. And so when they buy a placard, they pay $585, which is 125% of the new rate, if that answers your question.
And they just come to town hall.
They come to town hall, pay the fee. It's not, we don't accept it over a month to month. It's one time annually, and they get a pass.
Okay.
One follow-up question, if I could. So the sanitation fund's gonna run at a deficit. So how does that get funded? So is that just gonna be a general fund reassignment, or is it just gonna be in the negative?
It'll be a budget amendment, which you approved one tonight. So we'll end the year with a budget amendment to bring us in line. But it will show to our audit will show that it was in a deficit.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the fee schedule?
Okay, all in favor? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. All right, item A3, this is a request for revision. I need a motion to approve revision to camping at Shane Park.
Motion?
Need a second?
Yeah.
Second,
And any discussion?
Yes,
yes.
Okay,
go ahead. No, you're up
No,
first.
you're bigger than me, go ahead.
So, when I look at this here, is there actually an ordinance amendment that we're looking at tonight, or is this just kind of like saying to staff, put everything together and bring it back to council so that we can make a change?
Correct. I'm asking for direction on what you would like staff to do. We've had discussion back and forth. And if you want to make any changes to allow this, we'll need to produce some ordinance change language. We need to look at zoning, and town attorney will have to review that, and it will come back to you at a different meeting for a change,
Okay.
formal change.
But if we approve it tonight, it means it's approved, and it's only subject to the wording.
Well, if you give me direction and I need some clarification on what you want to limit, well, the easy one is don't change anything.
Right.
Okay? Then I flip the page. I haven't heard that, and so that's why you have it on your agenda today. I need to have some clarification so that staff can write that language and the town attorney can review it and bring it back to you in a form that you find acceptable. So this will be the time to either say, forget it, or we're interested in this, and these are the comments that we would like you to take in consideration.
how many spots are down currently at Shane Park?
I don't know.
Like, I think it's like
Somebody
10 or
does.
12.
So would it be appropriate to have Sean come up and kind of explain what we're looking at?
Sure.
So everybody can hear it.
Well, if you're interested
Sorry,
in
Lynn.
that.
We are interested.
Just have
Come on
a
up.
quick question. The wording is saying no RVs, but if you look at the Class B, which would look more like a van, like a modified van, that would be, I guess, considered an RV, so we might want to
It is.
think in terms of the wording there to allow for those.
So the current, we've given you the current ordinance for all, it's all parking, it's not just Shane Park. And it doesn't allow RVs, et cetera, in that parking area. If you were to consider this, we would have to amend that for Shane Park. And we would like to know from you, if you want to amend that, what controls, what do you want us to put in there?
So if we amend this, does that just amend it for Shane Park, or are we amending it then for Beach Mountain?
The proposal is only for Shane Park.
Okay.
All
And,
those within your discretion, however.
You can do whatever you
to
want.
see on that.
I'm just, my thought
Yeah.
process is going through, if we approve Sprinter vans and that type of thing, as long, I mean, here is great, but then where are we gonna start drawing the line on making sure?
And that is one of the questions, what do you want at Shane Park? Do you want Sprinter vans? Do you only want Class A's? Do you only want Class B's? What do you want that to look like? And also direction, I think, Sean may get to this, of how long can someone be at Shane Park
Right.
before we tell them it's this is the extent of your permit.
Sean, why don't you tell us what you're thinking?
Sure, so first off, as our mayor said, sorry, not our mayor, our lawyer before, 5 night maximum stay, those rules are not changing. Basically, all the rules are gonna stay the same. This is simply a revision to the ordinance that would allow the overlanding camping, which is a tent on a rooftop, or possibly with the Class B. Preston and I have met, we've talked about the wording of this, and of course, we would add in designated sites at Shane Park only with permits by us as well. So that's how we get into this site, unless you wanted something different. But he's working on that verbiage now. He sent me something this afternoon. But what I'm looking at is we have been successful over the past this will be our 4th summer. We're filling up all 5 sites now, and we're getting some extras. How could we find a way to allow more campers? This is a growing trend. The overland camping is a lot with the summer activities at the resort, and now even skiing in the wintertime. We're getting campers sealed in too. So this is a way for us to try and allow something else other than just tents on the ground. So that's what we're looking at, and this was just the asking if the council would consider it, and if so, then we're going to come back to you with our verbiage recommendations.
So,
Mr. Mayor.
the Sprinter vans are anywhere 20, 22 feet.
Yes.
And I think that, some of the, I'm gonna use Winnebago, for example, they can be somewhere between 20 and 22 feet. And personally, I'm in favor of this. I see the need for it with our bikers at Emerald Park. I see the need for it with our bikers at Beach Mountain Resort. And then in the wintertime also, there's a need for it. And I would like to, I'd like the verbiage to include, there's a difference between a Sprinter van and a Winnebago or, some of the other manufacturers. So I'd like for that verbiage to include a Winnebago style camper.
Yes.
But I think we need to look at the footage, what will actually fit there.
Correct.
Probably a 40-footer is not gonna fit there.
No, sir, and Mayor, I'm
That's
glad
gonna
you
be
brought that
probably
up.
Class A.
That was also discussed in what our change would be with a maximum of a 23-foot straight up. You can't fit anything bigger than that in there, so that was, I'm glad you brought that up, that was gonna be added as well.
And this is minor, but the Sprinter vans, so they take, is it 30 amp or 50 amp?
So I did some digging on that. Most Sprinter vans take neither. They don't plug in, they use their batteries in their vehicles. So we do not need a 30 amp or 50 amp service for that if somebody.
Are you
wanted to run
intending to
something
put
small.
electric out there?
We have discussed it at this time. Again, I go with the direction of the council, but at this moment, this is just simply to change the ordinance to kind of get the ball rolling. And I know Bob and I have spoken.
We
So, I'm in
do
favor.
not have funding for electric,
Right.
and we don't have the capacity for sewer. So anything you put in out there, you should expect not to have electric or sewer.
So if they're only here for 3 to 4 days, they're not gonna need to get it pumped out. And/or we could always put some verbiage down there that one of these septic tank companies, if they can fit down there, can pump this out, if they have a large family. I don't know, I'm just.
Yeah, I'd get away from the sewage. We got water there, we've got a reservoir there. I don't think we really want to be pumping sewage from it, but RV into a tank, the spillage, there's more potential of spillage.
We do not have that infrastructure and will not have it down there. We had to, when we built the bathrooms, which were designed for tent campers, showers, bathrooms, cleaning tables to do dishes, we had to install a pump sewage system, and it does not and will not have the capacity to do any pump outs.
So we have 5 campsites now,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And you're going to 3 more additional?
3 would be the max. Again, with this style of camping, I would allow them 2 campsite or 2 parking spots. So that really starts to dwindle into what parking I also have for the rest of the park, and that would be my max is 3.
My big question, and I was very close to Dr. and Sue Shane, and I know what they had wishes about this park, and they made it well known. Has this been discussed with them? And if so, how do they feel about this?
It has. I spoke to them last week personally on the phone, and they like this idea, and I stand behind them and agree, I don't wanna do RV camping at Shane Park. Shane Park. And so I'm definitely here to keep their vision. And after I discussed what this idea was, they were both on board and actually supported it. Susan actually bought one. So she has a.
So I'm open to delving into this. I mean, part of the proposal for me will be, how are you gonna enforce the 5 days? So where are they gonna be signing up? Who's gonna be checking to see how long they're gonna be there? Who's gonna enforce the, length? Just to make sure there's not somebody down there with a longer length.
Sure.
And then the amount of, the facilities use, you know, we tend to also then get into, you know, those are three things that jump out at me on this, and I think 5 days is great. And then to word it correctly enough that we don't open it up.
Yes.
Up on Beach Mountain for somebody to pay to park over in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing. So those are the few of the issues that come to mind for
Yeah.
me, and I'm open to exploring it. I just think that there are little things behind the scenes that deserve at least fleshing it all out so people are aware.
Councilwoman, the rules of the park would not change. Currently, the tents are regulated at 5 days. We would use the same process. With the restriction on the length, they wouldn't be permitted. You come in, you don't come in and set up your tent and they'll go get a permit. You get the permit first, is which we currently have. None of that would change. What would change, if we were to go forward, would be to allow that van to be there. Currently, every tent comes with a vehicle. Many of them are these type of trucks. And we don't permit the vehicle, we permit the tent. What we're asking, if you want to move forward, is we'll now need to permit a vehicle as opposed to a tent.
Gotcha.
And would the fee schedules be in line with what you're charging now for tents, or would it be different?
As of right now, these sites would be the $40, which is the same as our premium sites, which are two of those.
I'd also like to check and see, just as a value-added service, if we move forward with this, is I think these smaller RVs, the ones that are 23 feet and less, require 30 amp service, is maybe TDA. I mean, they more than likely they've got a generator. And I'm getting in the weeds when I say this. Generator can only run so many hours. You know, they can't run after 10 p.m. because of the noise level. But it would be nice if we could check to ensure that the smaller RVs require 30 amps or like, well, either
Yeah, it'd be
30 or
30 amp.
50.
Yeah, the 50 amps when you jump to two ACs.
Yeah, and so, and then see if that's something that TDA would be willing to fund, since that's, you know, falls underneath their umbrella.
Sure.
I would want to charge more if we
Absolutely.
did that.
Value-added service.
We've got to recoup that cost.
Yes, sir.
Even if TDA pays for it.
But more so, I mean, I think this vote tonight's on whether we want to allow cars to park there overnight, correct?
Do you want to, yes, change the parking lot ordinance to allow this type of vehicle at Shane Park only, is what I'm asking for.
I'm in favor of it. I think that's kind of the backbone of what we offer here at Beach Mountain. You know, I go back to
We're an outdoors.
outdoor, yes, sir.
I got one final comment, and that is, a 5-night maximum stay. I think we need to probably put a rule in place to limit like 12 days a month. So when I think about the customer, like that Friday, Saturday, maybe even a Sunday night stay, to limit somebody moving into the park, right? I'm gonna stay here 5 days, I'm gonna go to Grandfather 5 days, I'm gonna come back to Beach 5 days. Like, how do we limit that? And I think putting in a monthly limit on these folks, on these vehicles, is probably something that needs to happen. When I think about, 3 weekends, 4 weekends, whatever the right number is, whatever you propose, bring back to us, that makes sense.
Would you not recommend that for the other campsites? I'd
Well, I
like
mean,
to
I think
keep it the
Well,
same.
that was-
I think it would do it all the same, make
I'd
it
like to
easy on
keep it the
everybody.
same.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, do you have many renters that, you know, are there every weekend, repeats?
No, I've had one in all the 4 years that we've done it, who signed up for a full 5 weeks and did exactly what you said. They left and came back for another, but then after that, he was gone, and I haven't seen him since. That was one time.
5 days.
5 days.
You said 5 weeks.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5 days. Yeah, yes.
You gotta say, we're gonna have to talk.
I'm in, you know, do we need a motion? What do we need here?
No, we discussions,
direction.
we need a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right.
Go to work.
There you go.
So,
Sean,
Thank
you.
this ready for tomorrow morning? Yes. You can take your car and spend the night there tonight. Okay, Chief, Town Manager and Staff reports?
Yeah, well, good afternoon, and thank you for passing the budget. That's a big deal, it really is, and it allows us to continue operations at the end of the month. The mayor already talked about the financial reports, we talked about the water rates, so I'll go right into project updates. Skiloft Road, that's the big, thing we got going up the hill. It's on schedule and doing very well. The last hiccup, and there's been many, the engineer that designed the retaining walls has been replaced. And we have another engineer that's taken over that task, and we're back on track with that. The Buckeye Recreation Center air conditioning will be completed next week sometime. We'll have it done and paid for by June 30. The gym is air conditioned, and if you haven't been down there, stop in. Now I'm getting calls that it's too cold.
I'm not surprised.
So success.
That's right.
And Sean has been
Is that in budget and there's been no extra,
No.
as per the contract?
Yes, there's no change orders. Town Hall Visitor Center, back to work. You hear work, so, knock on wood, we met today again with the contractor, and we've got I would say they propose a very aggressive schedule to get done. And it looks like it's the middle of August, the first part of September. A lot of things
This year?
yes. A lot of things have to fall in place for that to occur, but of note, we had a temporary trailer out here for the town hall staff, and we rotated departments in it. Well, we moved the visitor center over a year ago up to a trailer at the Bark Park. And the contract was that they would be completed by May 1st, which obviously they were not. And we took the number of days that they had been granted for weather, for change orders, and they've agreed that they will reimburse the town for the cost of the temporary office facility starting July 1st. I explained to them that the town taxpayer shouldn't carry that burden because the contractor hasn't been able to get the job done. They agreed, and we came to an agreement today on that. So a little token, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm going to take a moment here. The town hall staff, there's about 12 people who work here, plus the police department, including dispatch, 24 hours a day. So they've been really, really severely impacted on how they've had to work. They've doubled up offices, they've worked in the trailer, they've been in here. Yesterday they had no water here for 12 hours and couldn't go to the bathroom. They had to rotate folks to go up to the Bark Park bathroom. We had to make arrangements for dispatch to, eat lunch, wash their hands, and go to the bathroom. So I just want everyone to know the impact this has had on the staff in Town Hall, and my hat's off to them. They've treated it with a smile. They've been cleaning, they've been dusting, they've been doing all the things. So you should know that your town hall staff has really, really stepped up to the plate. Buckeye Bridge, which is the company that is doing the 2-year utility project all over the town, they're the ones behind us here on Meadowview Circle. They're replacing the water sewer. They're the ones that are pounding out there on some rock to put in some manholes. They're on schedule, they're just getting started, so it's kind of hard to be behind, and that process is going along very well.
Is that gonna move on to Christie?
It will, but not right away. They set a manhole down by Fred's gazebo.
Right.
And they're tying this into that, and then they're going to pull off and go to Greenbrier. Greenbrier is the premier problem in the mountain. We did this piece because Ski Loft connects to it.
Right.
So if you will, we have to do Ski Loft by September 30. It has to tie into the sewer to get to that manhole, so Buckeye Bridge is doing that piece of the contract. They're gonna pull off and go down to Greenbrier. They'll be back in about a year, and they'll cut through to Christie and Skiway. And that brings up my next note. We're going to have a neighborhood meeting for the Skiway Circle neighborhood, similar to what we did for Ski Loft. And it'll be July 31st at 4 o'clock here. Kate's sending out notices to all the property owners that are there. The reason we're gonna have a neighborhood meeting is we're gonna dig up the entire circle and put in water and sewer, plus there's a number of easements that had to be gotten. It's not near as disruptive as Ski Loft, but we were successful with the neighborhood meetings with Ski Loft. We're gonna repeat that with Ski.
You're not intending to displace those residents during the construction?
On Skiway?
Skiway?
Yeah, we will not. They'll always have access.
I'm sorry, could you say date and time again, please?
It's July 30th at 4 o'clock here in Town Council Chambers. The Pond Creek sewer plant repairs are underway. We've got the tank pumped down. The contractors got in there. The repairs will be ongoing. Right now, we know what the problem that they initially went in for, but now what I asked for is a survey, now that we've bypassed everything and drained the plant, a survey of what else would require repair, and that is underway. So once we get this done and fill it back up, we hopefully won't have any more problems for a
We're
while.
still trucking our sewage off the mountain?
Yes, to the town of Boone, we're allowed 2 loads per day, so be careful. Tamarack Road, Tamarack is paved, we're now finishing up Charter Hills, paving that. That project, 2.5-year project, is almost complete. We still have to stripe it and put the reflectors down, but just to review, that is complete utility replacement, complete road, complete stormwater. That road, that project should be good for 30 years. So we're real pleased to get that pavement down there.
Are we gonna lighten the pavement at all?
Stop. I talked to you about the convenience center. The fishing derby was June 1st at Lake Coffee, thanks to Parks and Rec. Went really well. The fish, for whatever reason, Sean tells me, were biting like crazy, so all the kids had a good time. So that went really well. Our first farmers market was a great success. It was last Friday. Those are the first Friday of the month. I do want to thank Sandy Carr and all her volunteers, and hopefully they got to park for free, that put that on. The next market is July 5th. You've got a flyer and some animal crackers and some candy canes because it's Christmas in July. Santa Claus will be there, as well as the petting zoo and over 40 vendors. So if you didn't get a chance to stop by last Friday, please get there on the 5th of July and have some ice cream. So summer camp starts next week at Buckeye Rec, and Sean's got a full cadre of counselors this year, and he's real excited about getting summer camp up and running. The fire department has an open house at Fire Station 2, Saturday, June 22nd, 2 to 4. Free hot dogs and cotton candy. Please stop by and support your fire department. Come see what they have to offer. The fire department will be having a memorial for Pete Chamberlain Sunday, July 7th at 2 o'clock at Wind Park, and the entire town is invited. This will be a formal fire department memorial where we'll do last alarm, ring the bell, fold the flag, and unveil a plaque recognizing Pete Chamberlain's service to the fire department at that time. And Michael Holland is putting that together and making sure that that goes off well. So please put that on your agenda, stop by. And last but not least, I'd like to just congratulate our past Vice Mayor Jimmy Accardi for his new son Daniel was born Monday, and I understand everybody's doing well.
Good enough.
Mayor and council, that's my report.
Well, you, I thought you mentioned July 31st at 4 p.m. Is it the 30th or 31st?
The 31st at 4 o'clock is the neighborhood meeting here.
31st.
The 31st.
31st.
Did I say something different?
Okay.
Thank you.
I apologize. I apologize.
Chief, any update on Lake Coffee, Lake Santis?
Yes, I'm sorry, you had asked that earlier. Had a meeting with the main engineer today. It's progressing well. We're kind of nervous about the ultimate cost. So we had to engage an engineer who specializes in dam design, and that preliminary design has been done. Because of the rock and the subsoil, we're having to line the lake with a liner, and there's several options. One is the least expensive is a clay liner, where you haul clay in from Lenore, I believe it comes, and the lake is lined with clay. Due to the design of the dam, that may not be possible, so we may have to put in a physical barrier liner, which is used in landfills and things like that. That is expensive, and so that design is underway, and we're waiting for a recommendation to see that. The contours are done, so we know what the height of the dam will be, what the water level will be. That's all pretty much set in stone. We need to get that to the Army Corps of Engineers for their blessing. The force main, water main that would go from the new reservoir down to the water plant has been designed and is 99% complete, and we're going to begin looking for easements for that force main, and it crosses a number of properties. The golf course is one of them, and crosses.
Is that going to be above the ground or below?
No, it'll be underground, yeah. But we'll need an easement, utility easement, where we don't have one to get down there. So it's progressing. As I had reported, there was a lot of activity while we were doing the core drilling and the geotech information, pulling it out of the ground, and then it would look like nothing's happening, but there's a lot of work that's been going on behind the scenes as we get into the design.
Any type of time frame being suggested?
Well, it'd be like throwing something on the wall.
Yeah.
But I tell people it's you know, it's going to be 2027, 28 time period
Completion?
for construction, and
Construction.
we can't just build it. We have to keep the resort operating for 2 winter cycles. So that's going to take a little bit of coordination. But it looks like right now that's where we're going to be. That's really just a ballpark because we don't have Army Corps of Engineer permitting. We have the state on board, but we don't have any documents that say, yeah, go ahead and build it. Hopefully, we've got the funding, unless it, just goes sky high. But it's moving along quite well.
Thank you.
Looks like the building is remaining strong on Beach Mountain.
Yes, I didn't go through the reports that we provided to you, but if you look at the Planning and Zoning Department, our permitting is still at record levels, our inspections. I should note to you that we hired a code enforcement / building inspector, Shane Johnson. He's on board and has begun working and quickly came up to speed, and his ability to get out there and meet with the folks and so 50% of his time is doing code enforcement on town ordinances, and the other 50% is assisting with building inspections.
All right, very good. Anything else, Chief?
No, that's enough.
Alan, council comments?
Oh, yeah, I'd just like to, again, to acknowledge Chief Buddy and Steve and his staff for the budget. It's a long process, and great communication with the council makes our job easier to come up with a budget that we can all agree on and the town can move forward. And I think you did that. Thank you very much. And also, just to acknowledge that I know at times there's a lot of communications out there that don't come from the town that may not be accurate. And I'm just asking that if people have questions about things, especially the convenience center or recycling, please contact either one of the town council, but the best person to contact is Chief Putney. I mean, he has all the information that you would need, and I just ask that you would do that to try to keep, misinformation at a minimum.
Art?
Yeah, I mean, Alan always steals my thoughts, but, yeah, I want to, acknowledge the work that the town has done and the town employees in putting together this budget. We gave them certain tasks and parameters, and they've met every one of them. And, I think both Chief and Steve and their staff should be commended. It's a lot of work. I know it doesn't happen overnight. So, thank you to the town. Also, I need to give kudos out to Sandy Carr for the farmer's market. I couldn't get there, but everybody I spoke to thought it was fantastic. We're very enthused about additional ones that are coming down the pike. So, Sandy, good job, and keep up the good work. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Mr. Patrol Director?
Please. Thank you. Budget work is hard. If anybody doesn't realize how many hours of staff time goes into preparing a budget, I've been there and I've done that and presented it somewhere else, and it is really a difficult back and forth, and hats off to everybody at the town that works here that puts that together. I just want to remind everybody, summer's here. Folks are coming back, and we want to definitely hear from those folks that haven't been here. So for those property owners that are here for part of the year, we need to hear, your direction as council members as to where and what is important to you, because it's important to me to hear what you have to say. So reach out to us. I'll start getting back into the coffee business here before long. Sorry, May was a little crazy for me, and it's fun times.
Vice Mayor?
First comment is you can look at the budget and you can read through all the minutes of the decision-making process that the council went through. And when we did the Meet the Candidates, the biggest thing that we said was we were not going to raise the ad valorem tax, and that's in this budget. So just to reiterate that, I do want to bring up just a few things that are happening up here on the mountain. Hog Roast is coming up for 4th of July. They really need volunteers, if anybody is available, but we also need you to come in eat some good food. The Historical Museum is going to be opening next week, and they are also looking for docents, if anybody wants to volunteer their time to work the museum, looking for visitors, and then we're still seeking sponsors for our calendar. So if you have pictures you want to send to us, or if you'd like to sponsor the calendar, that's our only fundraiser that's available as well. Farmers Market was awesome, went there, loved it. Looking forward to meeting with all the summer residents, and as always, we're here to answer questions, but the authority is usually that one. I'm just kidding. That's it for me.
So there's an open house, as Kelly mentioned, with the Historical Society. I believe there's an open house on June 19th from 5 to 7. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So if you guys would like to go look at some history of Beech Mountain, I think they'll have refreshments, and come join us.
In that note, I don't know if everybody saw it, there's going to be a campfire discussion with Fred Foe down at Shane Park, which I highly recommend anybody who is fascinated by this place to go listen to. I've done them with Fred before. I will be there. It'll be a great night. I just want to add that. I'm sorry.
When is that?
Friday night.
So, as mayor, I'd like to thank council for this opportunity, and for those that have supported me for the past 5 or 6 years. I certainly appreciate it. Being in this position, I didn't know you could be as busy as you want to be, or be as not busy as you want to be. And I found that in order for us to achieve some of the positive results that we have been receiving, that it's been beneficial to to be involved with the EDC, going to the mayor's meetings, the council of government meetings. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend a DOT dinner, and I had two people come up, and they were surprised that Beech Mountain was being represented, and they were very complimentary that Beech Mountain was being represented, and they said they'd like to see, more of us. So, there's a lot that's being done behind the scenes rather than attending the council meetings. I mentioned for the past couple months that we had a function at our house last Saturday. And regardless of your politics, it was kind of a GOP function because the people that got us the $15 million were Virginia Fox. She was in attendance. U.S. Congressman Scott Franklin's U.S. Congressman. He attended. Pat Harrington, he's running for U.S. Congress. Ralph Fox, who's our North Carolina Senator, was present. North Carolina Rep. Greg Pickett was present. Our County Commissioner, Braxton Eggers, was present. And also our Clerk of Court, Charles Haynes. So we had a really good showing from our community, and it was a good turnout. So next year, it's a non-election year, and our family would like to do a fundraiser for either the Children's Advocacy Center and or maybe the orphanage that is down at Crossnore. So more to come on that later. But again, I do appreciate council's support to allow me to be your mayor. Other than that, that's all I have. Any other questions? All right, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Ask him.
Hey, you have to make a
Ford, we have to motion to adjourn.
When you reach the end of the meeting, the mayor can just declare it adjourned. So